It's time to talk about the Nintendo Switch. I've spoken about many handhelds on this channel, but it's time to talk about the most successful video game handheld in the modern day. And with the Switch 2 just around the corner, let's take a look back at the Nintendo Switch. I think the first thing I'd like to acknowledge is that Nintendo has always been the king of handheld gaming. From the Game & Watch to the Game Boy, the DS, and now the Switch. Many competitors have entered the arena and swiftly left. Which takes me back to when before the Switch launched. At this point in time, many people were saying handheld gaming was dying. Sony pretty much gave up on the PlayStation Vita straight away. While the 3DS did very well, it did have quite a tough launch, and was still a sales decline from the original DS. People were sure that gaming on mobile phones would eat up the rest of the market share. On top of all that, the Wii U was a complete failure. As a result, many were saying that Nintendo should completely exit the console space altogether. Hard to imagine now, isn't it? But Nintendo did learn some lessons from the Wii U. To have a clear premise with simple marketing. Make sure to get some third-party support. And the most important thing, steal the best parts of the Wii U. For those who don't remember, Wii U was a console that had a tablet controller. The best part of the controller was being able to play games on the tablet itself. Well, kind of, and well within distance of the console itself. So BAM! Nintendo's like, the Nintendo Switch will be a hybrid system. A home console while docked that can be switched to a handheld console undocked. It was a simple premise to get the consumer to understand, and well, of course, it worked. I got mine close to launch. I did pre-order, but Amazon lost mine, so I managed to get a new one from Game a few weeks later. So it wasn't impossible to get, even though Breath of the Wild was sold out physically when I tried to buy it. So a download it was. So I've had mine since 2017. The screen has a slight crack in it for about 3 years now. It's not super noticeable when playing. I would have replaced it earlier, but I kept thinking, Switch 2 will be out any time now. Well, I was right. You consider any time now to be a whole 3 years? But how about my experience with the Switch? Let's get into that. Like any gaming console, the Switch can be judged on the library of games available for it. And while the Switch has an amazing library of games, Nintendo always has great first-party support, and the Switch is no exception, with new Zelda, Mario, Smash Bros. Games, and many more. On top of all that, they ported a load of Wii U games. Since no one brought a Wii U, they're basically new games to most people. Even the biggest launch game, Breath of the Wild, was meant to just be a Wii U game originally, but launched on the Switch and the Wii U at the same time. The Switch's most successful game, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, is just an expanded Wii U port. Another big factor for the games is that the Switch has very good third-party support. Switch got a lot of very early indie game support on the eShop. It got even bigger third-party support from big publishers as the Switch became more and more successful. The Switch also got miracle ports, like The Witcher 3, which managed to fit on a Switch cartridge. I did even mention the Nintendo Switch Online, which adds a load of classic games to the Switch library.
Obey me, Wario. I am your master. Mario is your enemy.
The wicked imposter Wario has cast an evil spell over Mario Land.
Don't let Mario get the 6 golden coins. Don't let Mario reach the palace.
This is the biggest, most dangerous, most challenging Game Boy adventure yet.
Obey Wario. Destroy Mario.
Don't fall under Wario's evil spell in Super Mario Land 2, only on Game Boy.
But the Switch is not perfect, there are some flaws. To state the obvious, the Switch is kind of underpowered. The Switch is roughly as powerful as a Xbox 360/PS3. The Xbox 360 came out in 2005. That's 20 years ago. Many games do run well on the Switch, but as we got to the later stages of the Switch generation, we kept seeing more games have performance issues. My second issue is with the eShop. There are so many great games on the eShop, but there's also a shit ton of shovelware just bloating up the store, making it hard to find the stuff you want. Also, the eShop can be a bit slow sometimes as well. Next, Nintendo Switch Online is too expensive. Playing to pay online sucks. Paying $17.99 a year to get some NES and SNES ROMs feels overpriced. Then paying even more for an expansion pass to get some N64 and Game Boy Advance games. Maybe we've got everything for $17.99, it would feel more reasonable. But with the Switch 2 they're adding more stuff to it, so it might help to make the cost a bit more worth it. Last but not least, stick drift. It happens on other consoles as well, but it seems to just happen more on the Nintendo Switch. Hopefully the Switch 2 will rectify that. So overall I would say, just because of its amazing library of Switch games, it's probably the best handheld of all time. Maybe even one of the best consoles period. Also, as we approach the end of the Switch and beginning of the Switch 2, handheld gaming is just looking much better in general. With the rise of the PC handheld systems, it's rumoured that Microsoft and Sony are also looking to get into it as well. And for a bit of fun to end the video, here are my 5 most played Switch games. At number 5 is Skyrim. My guess this must have been earlier on the lifespan of the Switch, because when I play Skyrim on the go, I'd probably just use the Steam Deck now. And it wasn't a bad port, and Skyrim is generally fun, so I guess that's why I played it a lot. Number 4 is Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I tried other games in the franchise, but this was the first one to grab me. Great combat, great story, go play it, it's definitely worth the time I spent with it. Number 3 is Shin Megami Tensei 5. I already made a video on that, so go check it out. Number 2, Animal Crossing, a good solid entry into the series. I think the pandemic probably helped a lot for this game's playtime. Number 1 is Fire Emblem Three Houses. Not surprising, as I think I've done at least 2.5 playthroughs of the campaign. Also the DLC campaign. I would probably call it my favourite Switch game, so it being my most played game is not really a surprise. What are your most played Switch games? Let me know in the comments. Blah blah blah, now it's going to be the end of the video shortly, like, subscribe, blah 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 blah, recommend a video maybe. Video in soon.